Hi, it's UHD Carlson here, and Paramount's at it again, going back and giving us new 4K releases of some of their back catalog titles. I just picked up the Steelbook release of a 1984 classic that continues to be one of the most famous films of the 80s, that being Footloose. I'm going to unbox this release, and I will share my opinions. There's the front cover. It looks like a Walkman. I kind of like the way that looks. There's the top of the backing card, back of the backing card. There's the spine. Underneath the backing card, we got some things that look like stickers with titles of the songs that are in the film. This also comes with a mini poster, which is a nice little bonus. I like the way that looks. That might have to go up on my YouTube wall at some point. This does include a digital code of the film. And we get two discs in here. We get, of course, the 4K Ultra High Def release, which features the film itself. And we get a copy of the older Blu-ray of the film, which has several bonus features that were made for the Blu-ray era and some archival ones from the DVD era as well. Underneath here, we get more images from the film, and that actually looks pretty nice. And I'll read the description of the movie as follows from the backing card. Jumping with the spirit of freedom, dazzling dance numbers, and an electrifying 80s musical soundtrack, Footloose comes to 4K Ultra High Def for its 40th anniversary in this limited edition collectible steelbook. It's the timeless struggle between innocent pleasure and rigid morality for city boy Ren McCormick, newly moved to an uptight small town where dancing has been banned. Ren quickly makes a new best friend in Willard and falls fast for the minister's daughter, but his love for music and dancing gets him into hot water equally as fast. Featuring a treasury of hit songs from Kenny Loggins, Shalimar, Denise Williams, Bonnie Tyler, Quiet Riot, John Mellencamp, Foreigner, and more. At the time of its release, Footloose got very mixed reviews. A lot of the criticism veiled from the fact that the movie tried to juggle so many plot points and didn't necessarily do any of them well. Of course, over time, opinions of the film have certainly softened, and it's become something of an 80s classic and a pop culture staple. This is largely due to the movie's soundtrack, which features a nice selection of original tunes, including songs by Kenny Loggins, who of course sang the title song. Loggins, of course, went from being an acoustic singer-songwriter in the 70s to being the king of 80s soundtracks. He'd also, of course, do the song Danger Zone for Top Gun, another one of my favorite films of all time. And prior to this, he'd done the song I'm Alright, which was the theme from Caddyshack. So, of course, Kenny Loggins certainly got around back in his day. And you get some other great songs, too, including stuff by Denise Williams. And then you even have some previously released songs in the movie by the likes of Foreigner and Quiet Riot. The movie, of course, was one of the first big performances from Kevin Bacon. Really helped put him on the map. It certainly had some iconic roles before this, but I think this is the one that really made him a megastar. And you get a pretty great supporting cast here, including the late Christopher Penn portraying his best friend in this new small town. And you have John Lithgow playing the minister in town, presiding over the church, who of course believes that dancing and rock and roll music are absolutely sinful. In some ways, Lithgow's minister actually becomes the most interesting character in the film, and there's clearly more to him than meets the eye, and he begins to have identity crises of his own. This was actually filmed up in northern Utah in small towns, and it really reflects that sort of society pretty well. The performances in the film are all pretty good. The music is good. I do think some of the criticisms veiled at the film are valid. It does try to do a few too many things, a few too many subplots, a few too many characters, but the fact is, I do like this movie. It's certainly not a classic for the ages, but it's an enjoyable time capsule of the 1980s. And when it comes to revisiting classic cinema, sometimes that's all you really need to ask for. Footloose, unfortunately, is not a movie that's ever really looked good on home video. The previously released Blu-ray was really hit with a lot of negative reviews at the time of release. And this new 4K release from Paramount, admittedly, it does not look great, but it is certainly an upgrade from the prior releases. Footloose is never a movie that's going to be home theater demo material, and this is certainly not going to be the disc you want to show to your friends to see what 4K is capable of with older movies. But it is, again, at least a modest upgrade from the prior releases of the film, all of which have looked pretty horrible. I do think fans will at least appreciate the upgrade, but at the same time, I think they might want a little more from a transfer of this film, too. Again, you get the Blu-ray in here that was previously released, so you get those features that were produced for the Blu-ray era, but then you also get the older archival DVD era features as well. So once you pop in the Blu-ray copy, you will find plenty of stuff to watch if you are a fan of the movie. Whether I can recommend this or not really depends on how big of a fan of the movie you are. If you are a diehard Footloose fan and you want the best looking release, this is certainly it. So it's at least an upgrade that's somewhat worthy. I'm not going to say this is something you should rush out and buy instantly, but if you're a fan of the film, I'd say it's at least worth considering. Are you a fan of Footloose? Do you think it's one of the greatest films of the 80s? Do you think it's Kevin Bacon's best role? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content. I'm always posting new videos. And make sure you give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm Taylor T. Carlson. I'll see you next time.